Connie Reed.
Here.
Brian Hill.
Here.
Scott Glover.
Here.
And right now Stephanie Merle and Carl Kincaid are absent.
Okay. Of course, we're not going to vote on anything tonight. Everything is just a discussion. But the minutes, has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes? And if so, do you have any discussion about them? If not, let's move on down. Discuss the March financial statement. Anybody have any questions on that? Got a chance to look at it?
Did anybody down there make some money?
But nobody left us money. No, right not.
I mean, it means somebody has to die to leave us money. Anybody can leave us money.
That's a good question. Good thought.
So, just an overview of this, are we still in the hole, $200,000?
Big time. Big time right now. Yeah. Which Millie isn't here, but Jeff and I went over some figures this afternoon. The state sales tax looks like it might be short. We're just going on what we've been drawing each month on it. And it looks like maybe by the end of the year, we're thinking that might be short $79,000. But we don't know yet what's going to happen on the grocery thing. I don't know.
So you said state sales tax?
Mm-hmm.
Well, looks like that's where we're at now. We're not. I mean, we estimated 433, and we have 355 so far, right?
Right.
Local option is where the big discrepancy.
Oh, was it? Okay. Let me look at the state sales tax and why did I say that? 473, we've got 82% of it.
The state
And
sales
we've been-
tax, yeah, it's down by 78,491. The state sales is showing,
Mhm.
yeah.
So yeah, that's 78,000
Yeah.
at this point in time for the state sales tax. But the local option is quite good.
Yeah, local options, what we're looking at. But anyway, the state sales tax, we've got 3 more months to draw on it. So we've been drawing, I think, around 39,000 a month on it.
So I don't know what local option sales tax is.
Local option sales tax is what we get based on our census. No, wait a minute.
Yeah, I know, I see it, I just don't know what it means. Is that just the sales tax we get in general?
It's the local portion. I mean, there's sales tax is made up of a state portion and a local.
Right.
And that's the local portion.
Okay, so it's
I
just,
think the state sales tax is what we get based on what everybody else, I think, buys in the state. And we get so much of it, I think, Scott, based on our census, so much per person.
so just the word option was wrong.
It is, yeah.
So local sales tax. Okay, got it.
Local option sales tax.
So we're down 375,000.
We're down 375,000. We're averaging so far about $61,000 a month. So we just figured come 3 more months that we bring in, hopefully on 80,000, which is right. We'll be short around 192,000 on that. y'all come up with something different, let me know, because I'm just projecting too, just like,
Well, I do own a bicycle shop, and I can get the police department bicycles. And we sell all their cars, right? No.
we've only, going back to one block check, it looks like we've only grown 60% of what was in there projected. So there will probably, unless we have a big fall, you know, I mean, a big roll of money coming in or something. If a lot of people go to the dollar store, and a lot of people keep going to check, you know, maybe. But right there on the local option, I mean, that is what's hurting us.
Right.
And we might, just based on what we're drawing, average a month, we got 3 more months. If we keep on with our average, it looks like we're gonna be short around 192,000, if our math is correct.
Well, our 2 new restaurants seem to be doing well.
Mm-hmm.
So where does that help us out in this list? The local option?
Yeah, no, we have to sell them up there. Yeah. We're sales tax.
And wholesale beer tax?
Well, the only other one that I looked at that might, business taxes were down 31,000, but Melody says that we get those business taxes really more toward the end, the middle toward the end of the budget year. So maybe that'll come up.
Right now.
Because I know we've got more business tax than, more businesses than what we've collected as tax on that thing. I think they'll wait till the very last for that to pay it.
We're probably still 150 to 200,000 short.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've got property tax, we're down probably around 35,000. And that's even including I mean, we're up a little bit in delinquent, but still I took that off of what we're down. So we're probably gonna end up being, well, we're behind, we're gonna be behind 35,000 at least. Local option, I've got that we're gonna be 196,000 short. Business taxes, 31,000 short. But now business taxes, it's not gonna be enough to really help a lot, but I've got possibly almost 260,000 short.
And then we talked about some of that would be reduced to the interest off the grant that we put in the savings account, but probably not any more than half, when you think.
It won't be that,
Right.
that number, but, yeah.
We'll have to dip.
It's gonna hurt. It really is. Because, I mean, you look, if this plays out, this is about $1.25 million.
Which the unfortunate part is, you know, the interest off that grant will take up some of that, but that would have been extra money we would have had.
For the grant, for actually what it's supposed to be done. I mean, just think about it this way. That's not really a revenue.
Not,
It's just something.
not
And
long-term,
once we pull that money out, once we pull the money out for the grant, well, I didn't get that. That's just a formula to your thing. But maybe it could be something, I don't know. How much it'll be, I don't know if that's what y'all wanna do. We don't really have much choice, I think. It'll, if you want to, we'll put the interest out, put it in general fund, that's where it'll go. Then you just gotta take all this stuff out of general fund. Yeah. So, the expenses look pretty good. And everybody pretty much is holding their own in the expenditures. So, we can't talk about the budget tonight because Melody doesn't have half the figures. That is what makes the budget so hard. you don't get in the figures that you need to plan for next year from all these people that you get your figures from until June, late June or something, but she's starting to compile and put things together.
I know, Carl's not here, but one of the things that he had mentioned is, of course, with all the property values going up, if we don't adjust the rate to accommodate for that, if we just let the rate stand, I think we need to look at that figure and see, where we are. I know he was studying that some, just to say, if we leave the rate alone and let the property values be our income.
And we'll have to see how that turns out too. We won't know. Melody says that they're supposed to give her those figures in May, from what but she hasn't got them yet, but they could kind of tell us what we're going to get,
And it's,
how much we're going to drop.
there's been a lot of talk about that, but I think the Pappy building went up $250,000, but it's probably not very far off from what the value is, where it stands now, and if we sold it. So I'd love it, because my taxes are gonna go through the roof, but, that's probably close to market value.
Ours went up, I think, a little bit over 40,000, and I wouldn't sell it for that.
Well,
Still, I'm glad that
couldn't replace it, that's the,
but what was funny was one of our neighbors just up the road here.
I got a phone call from
Yeah,
that too.
yeah.
Mine went down, I said, you better call.
That's
Isn't that right?
exactly, I said, Steve, you cannot imagine that this went down. Ooh.
I told him myself.
And at one time, he didn't want it to go down, he said,
No, and that's,
Yeah.
I told him, I said, no way, that's right. I said, I'll pay you double what they say as far as, he's, I don't know, he's gonna find out, but he never has got back with me, so I don't know what that answer was, but
I don't think he's got an answer yet.
that's probably
He
accurate.
hasn't got one yet. The last time I talked to him, he hadn't. But anyway, so that's what we're gonna have to start thinking about. And we have, Melody's got the request in from all the department heads, what they want. And they realize the situation, but still.
Budget time's gonna be fun.
It's going to be thankful. Okay. So, any more discussion on this? All right, moving on down, codes and permits. This was passed on the first reading, and there will be a public hearing. And we've got to go for a second and final reading to amend the zoning ordinance of the town of White Bluff, regulating renewable energy system installation. Amanda?
Sure. So again, just as you said, this is going for your second and final. Just real briefly, this is drawing a difference between a renewable energy system facilities, which is a use that's indicated for energy production for off-site use. So think solar farms, think wind turbines, think kind of a larger scale manufacturing type ordeal. Versus your non-industrial renewable energy system, which is, think more of your domestic scale. So think your home geothermal systems, think home solar panels, think solar panels on commercial facilities, so on and so forth, because the intent is for on-site use. So what this does is it adds two definitions for renewable energy solar systems, renewable energy system facilities versus non-industrial. It adds a section 3.130 for the non-industrial renewable energy system, again drawing some differences between the two, saying that permits will be required for design and installation. Everything needs to adhere to the International Building Code that the town is under, setbacks and height restrictions, that anything that's on ground or roof mounted shall comply with all accessory setback and maximum height requirements for the zoning district where the system's located. So basically just putting in your general parameters for the installation of your system. It also amends zoning ordinance Article 5, Section 5.063.3 I3, which is your special impact district, by adding the guidelines for the specific uses for the site requirements for renewable energy system facilities. Again, it's important to note that you all already had this use as a special exception in your zoning ordinance, but you didn't have any criteria by which to judge the use. So what this does is it just simply codifies if somebody wants to apply to put in a renewable energy system facility. Again, that's for off-site energy generation use, that they have to abide by these 4 criteria. The first 2 or 3 of which are just linking back to the general requirements, of course, for the special impact district that itself. The additional requirements on top of it, we're presenting a decommissioning plan demonstrating methodology for shutting down the renewable energy facilities, how property will be rehabilitated. Applicant shall demonstrate potential environmental impacts of the facility and plans to mitigate any impacts. Applicant shall include federal or state permits associated with the construction and provide an emergency response plan with their application. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions we may have as we approach the second and final read.
I'm happy.
Thank you for the bold type.
Sure.
You really have.
No, there's a lot. I'm happy with it.
First off, I apologize for my tardiness. Secondly, thank you for your foresight on a lot of these things. I like it. I read it prior to the meeting, so.
You just wanted to miss the budget section.
Yes.
Okay, so next Tuesday night we'll have a public hearing and a vote for second and final reading. Everybody, any questions or anything before Tuesday night? You feel pretty good about it? Much about it? Okay. Going down to public safety, I don't have anything right now, streets and sidewalks, nothing. I might say on streets and sidewalks, we're participating just in a phone call in the morning, and it's about to start, maybe how we start, to do the project.
It's the kickoff meeting for the sidewalk project, going from basically McDonald's down to
Connectivity on Montgomeryville. Yeah.
your road.
My road, good. We'll take it.
Where is it?
By J&J Insurance, 170. Right across where 47 comes from Vernon.
That's phase 1 of that project. So that's what the meeting tomorrow is about. Phone call.
Okay, Parks and Recreation, I don't have anything. Of course, Field of Dreams has been remodeled, and I will say that every pretty day or every day that school is out, it's packed. And also, people are really using the certain times of the day. They're using the skate park. Small children, and there's going to be about 6 o'clock to 6 afternoon. So, Well used, well used.
I saw a Facebook post in Hip White Bluff about, somebody was very upset about the teenagers hanging out in the
Yeah.
park. And
Johnny already handled it.
Give him a super soaker.
Yes, she already handled it.
We have that every so often. That happens once or twice a year, the teenagers invade the park
Bring
and,
them in.
yeah. And we had signs or something up, 12 and under, 4 to 12, you know.
Oh, you done.
And nobody paid any attention to that, but anyway.
Yeah, I would be one to sit down right next to him to beat up. Bring on the awkwardness.
Okay, any old business? New business, discuss a resolution setting the election date for the year 2024 by the mayor and council of the town of White Bluff, Tennessee. So there's a resolution in here, it's just something we have to do every year. Or every election year, we have to do that. Any question on that? Okay, I've got this big package here, the comprehensive plan. This is something I think that Carl and Amanda and Jeff and I don't know who else has been working on.
Debbie Brewer.
Debbie Brewer, okay. So discuss it. Who wants to discuss it?
Okay, so this is, as you all will recall, the county undertook a larger countywide comprehensive plan back before I was full-time with you all in the county, and I was with GNRC. I was not involved in that process, but Jeff was, along with some of the other communities in our county. That was with Volkers and, of course, with a group of stakeholders on a steering committee. So from that, once we got through that process, there was a lot of discussion about the fact that that plan really was, countywide. It was kind of an idea to try to get all of the communities that were signatories to the plan to agree to some basic concepts or basic philosophies and how to approach and manage growth that was happening in the county and how to encourage or direct growth here, there, and otherwise. Obviously, one does not fit all. Part of the condition on passing that here in White Bluff was that we would drill down and we would create a plan that was specific to our town. And that's what this document attempts to do. It's a draft. It is based largely on the factual data that came from the comprehensive plan, a lot of the statistics and things like that. The rest of it was really based on some of the trends in development that I've seen in being with you all now, with 2 years from GNRC and coming up on almost a year with you all through this interlocal agreement. And just from my time listening and observing and just being what I have dubbed myself as an honorary White Bluffian. And so that's what I try to do with the guidance of Carl and Debbie and Jeff, of course, is trying to take a certain number of elements of that larger comprehensive plan and take a few that I knew that we could really drill down on, and what I heard from those discussions that seemed to be the highest priority of this council. Jeff and I both dislike the term living, breathing document. This is the one and only time you're going to hear that term. It is a living, breathing document in that it is two things. It is a tool. It needs to be used. Okay. But it is a tool that can be used in many ways. It is not just a tool to bring growth in. It is a tool to manage what we have. It is a tool to help guide us to where we want to be. So in some circles, people look at comprehensive plans as a tool to try to lure, things in and an effort to completely change the landscape of town and the culture and everything. I think that for anybody who's spent some time with the document, you'll see that a lot of care was taken in trying to balance who we are with what we have and what we know is coming. What's coming is inevitable, but we don't have to just sit and take it. We have an opportunity to guide. There are lots of different ways to do that, and that's what I hope this plan tries to accomplish. So with that, I promised Jeff that I would not go into my 6-hour monologue, which I could easily do, and that would be the short version, but I'm not going to do that to you all. You all are able to read for yourselves. What I do want to point out is that the natural resources, there are statement of core values for each of the sections that take the mission statement from the county version, again, try to make it more specific to White Bluff. I talk quite a bit about Montgomery Bell throughout this, and Jeff and I talk a lot about this as well. It's a wonderful aspect of our community, but it's not the only aspect of our community. I think there's a lot that we can offer the world, that we can capitalize on the treasure that we have, but we also have other opportunities that I hope that you all will take advantage of in some of the ideas that are presented in the document. In the back, what I'd like to bring your attention to are what's called the calls for action that starts on page 28. So pages 1 through 27 are really more of divisioning, okay? 28 through the end are where we have a lot of opportunity for you all to set the pace, to set the guide, to set the vision for how you want the town to react and to interact with development opportunities and development opportunities within the town and outside. Some of these calls for action were carried over from the comp plan just as a way to kind of get us started. But there may be other calls that you think, other ways that we can support and take action toward developing economic development programs, for example, preservation of natural resources. I know there's lots of opportunities for land use, industrial expansion, tourism, things like that. So I think at the heart of it, this 28 through however long you want this document to be is kind of our litmus test. It's something that you guys can look back on over the years, the next couple of months, weeks, years, decades, and how do we know that we're accomplishing the goals that we've set out in pages 1 through 27? And we look at these and we say, okay, we've taken steps toward X, Y, and Z. Nothing happens in a vacuum. One of the benefits of me being, here from an interlocal government agreement is that I do have the opportunity to work into different jurisdictions that have a lot of common goals. The Montgomery Bell Regional Multi-Use Path is one of them. That's something that's going to benefit the county. That's something that's going to benefit White Bluff, and it's something that will benefit the city of Dixon as well. So those are the type of things that I'm excited to see what you all think. I'm excited to see what your vision is. It's not going to happen overnight. Certainly didn't get written overnight, the first version or this. So I'm going to stop talking, and I welcome your feedback.
Well, let me start with saying page 19 and 20 and 21 I really like. A lot of your pictures that shows if you were trying to sell White Bluff, this would be, in fact, I always have to give talks every year to the real estate business. And I will use these two pages. I like the pictures in it.
So the first sentence in this mentions a bedroom community, so that's what we're considering ourselves.
That is a common term, that we are a bedroom community.
A lot of people don't like that term, but I have to agree, it's what we are.
I think what that does, it's basically a definition. And you should almost take it as a warning or a concern, as to make sure that, I mean, we are to some degree that, but a bedroom community implies that all you do is sleep here. And I don't think that's us 100%.
Well, and I'll tell you, like, what your opinion and mine mesh, because, you know, I've heard a lot of people say, you know, I work in Nashville, I grab something to eat on the way home. But you're not doing that on the weekends because you live here.
That's right.
And so, and that's, you know, I don't think that's a necessarily terrible thing, because, you know, there's a lot of people that use this as a bedroom community that actually work here as well. So,
I think of a bedroom community, and it's not to disparage in any way, but a community similar to Van Leer or Sladen or something like that. I mean, even Van Leer now has shopping options and, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, typically a bedroom community is literally where you just go there to sleep because there's nothing else to do.
right.
And our restaurants and, you know, live music venues and all of that stuff, we're getting there.
I would draw attention to, you know, that last sentence of the first paragraph on page 30 where it says to combat the natural ability of the surrounding communities to become suburban areas of Nashville. The following actions should be taken. And so, I mean, I think it's a lot of this document, I told, and by the way, I applaud all of y'all's hard work. Y'all have worked phenomenally on that. So much so that I felt very, in a lot of ways, inconsequential about this because y'all did such great work. I was just like, wow, they gave it okay. So kudos there. But I think a lot of this document is what I would call like a State of the Union address. Really, just like this is what we are. But then it has some appropriate and non-controversial, in my opinion, suggestions of to kind of like it. And that's why I love that sentence, to combat the natural ability, because the reality is we're right next to Nashville. We will naturally, if left without us taking action, naturally we will just become metro area of Nashville. So to combat that, we can take a few actions, and I still think it's a little. We have still become a little bit of that metro area of Nashville, but I think there are some things we can do to help combat some of that. So, yeah, I'll shut up now. But
Well, we did not see you as inconsequential. We appreciated everything from Debbie. I do want to say I appreciate Amanda taking the lead on this. She did a fantastic job.
well, you did wonderful. And I didn't.
When you ended your sentence, you said, and we're getting there, what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, I think that, you know, the opportunity for growth to bring more here is a distinct possibility.
To keep them here, to keep where they will support what businesses we have. I would tell you, like, I mean, I'm always one that, I'm more simple-minded, I think, and on some of this, but I think of a bedroom community as a community that people, they have to work in Nashville, or they have to work in the industrial park, but they don't necessarily want to live there. And, you know, they do come here at night. I mean, I did it for many, many years. But when you get here, a lot of times I would eat here, my family would eat, we did the ball games here, we stayed here, there were things to do. We didn't want to live in Nashville, we didn't want to live at the industrial park. So yeah, maybe we don't have everything that those people have in Nashville, and they have in Dixon, but still want to live here. And I just I don't take it as a derogatory statement, I really don't.
If you go back 50 years, you know, when I was a child, my mom worked in Dixon, my father in Nashville.
That's right.
So I don't think really we've grown, but the core design of the town hasn't changed that much.
I don't think so either.
You know, it's just more and more and more. Matter of fact, you know, it's just that we and Jeff were talking about the house next to the sewer plant. That's always been, you know, the White Bluff houses I can sell twice as fast as any house I build in Dixon. So that says a lot for us, even though, you know, yes, you may have more jobs in Dixon, they want to live here. So,
I agree with you, because when I did visit this community down here, I asked them why they came. Some of them told me they had a choice between Burns and White Bluff, and they took White Bluff all day long over Burns. And I will tell you, on Friday night, now, some nights, I can go through town, I can walk across the street, not even hardly look for the traffic or anything to get my mail. But on Friday nights, and most of the time on Saturday nights, and then sometimes Sunday after church, these places are packed. So people are using it. And my gosh, how many restaurants do we have here now? I mean, when people ask me, where should I go in White Bluff, or what do you think? And I can just name the restaurants all of them. I was telling Brian, I bought 2 pounds of hot wings from Brian and went home, and they were delicious. I mean, we are so fortunate, because there are other small communities that do not have that. I think I'd like to have some more retail.
yeah.
I mean, we've got doctor's offices now, we've got 2. We've got a pharmacy, several, I'm still old, I call them beauty shops, but you know what I'm saying, places where you go and get your, got several of those. We've got so much more now than even Brian, you're right, when they were growing up.
I don't know, I may have told
But
y'all.
there's room for more.
Domino's actually was looking at White Bluff, because I know this, because they asked about one of our buildings, and I'm like, I'm not gonna rent that to you. But, you know, if they're looking, they know.
They know,
And we're,
yeah.
you know, and that's the thing, we'll get more retail, it's just, that's probably the last thing we're gonna get, is retail. It's just
Yeah, I think
hard.
so too.
It's
I think so
difficult.
too.
Well, we can still get some niche retail that works here, though.
You can, yeah.
Because I've been trying to, and thinking on this for a long time, and I still haven't created the summary of words that I'm happy with to describe what I envision, but in a roundabout way, it's like you said, yeah, you might have to work in a warehouse somewhere in Nashville, but once you get home, you don't want to leave home.
Right.
You want to stay here, and on weekends you want to stay here. And maybe people who do live elsewhere near the warehouse, maybe a few of those people would want to come out here to visit the niche places and restaurants and the whatever, get out to the country and go to the park and stuff, so.
There are several places that are destination restaurants here.
Yeah, and so destination restaurants, some really cool niche stores, that kind of stuff, and yet enough to where everybody can sustain and survive
And
do well.
music. Oh my gosh, on Friday night, I can't get out on my front porch, which does not bother me. I think it's neat. We hear the thumping and the bumping, and we're singing, and it's going on down here. It's going on down here, and it's going on across the street, and now it's going on out at Gideon Pub. And people now from Dixon and places are coming here for their entertainment, so I think it's great. I would like to see, personally, I'd like to see some retail, maybe some little boutiques or things like that. I don't know if we're ready. I would be afraid to open one up myself, because I don't think yet we've got the foot traffic, but we've got those kind of people coming here that want that. And I do, I've been in discussion with, the Jazz Center is still wide open, and there is someone really looking at it. And it would be more for mixed use. It would be homes and that sort of thing, but some commercial too, and that end of town doesn't even look like it did 7 or 8 years ago. It's beginning to look like its own little community out there. So, anyway, well, I like this. Thank you so much.
So, I guess in terms of next steps, we're kind of turning it over to you all at this point. I know this is the first time you've seen it. So when, take it home, read it, we can do 2 different things. I mean, you can the goal would be to get an approved document, like as a guiding tool. So, when you all are ready, when you give us instruction, then it would go back to Planning Commission for them to review and comment on, and then hopefully get their recommendation, and then it would come back here for an actual, and I'm sure it would be handled as an ordinance, so there would be two votes with an opportunity for public input. So that's where we're at. And we'll let you all kind of tell us how you want to move forward.
So if we like this, then, Tuesday we can send it back to planning if we so desire.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, you're talking about money more retail here. I think really,
Only when we're ready to support.
well,
Because like I said, I wouldn't open one up right at the moment.
I have a comment about that. That would be neat and everything, but you gotta consider that, you know, the median age of a White Bluff citizen is getting younger. They're used to Amazon, they're used to Walmart.com, Target.com.
Me too.
So, I don't see, this nation ever going back to, you know, wanting to go buy things, places. I mean, it's gonna have to be really unique stuff.
Yes, I agree.
And,
I agree.
so, but we probably need to focus on things that, like the restaurants, maybe a nice, hotel or something that has, you know, we have the inn at Montgomery Bell, something like that that focuses on another part of White Bluff, Indian Mounds or, you know,
Yeah.
things like that, that might benefit us and something that you can't get online.
Mhm.
Because, like it or not, that's where we're going. Is
That's where we're going, and that's where a lot of us are.
So, that's
True, but I was just thinking in Dixon, Scott, on Main Street in Dixon, there are a lot of little boutiques, and a lot of little just crafty antique
Right.
places, and Boardwalk 615, and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know that we're ready for that. I would like to see it just for my own convenience, really. But, on the other hand, I agree with you. Would I right now make a loan and open up a boutique shop? I don't know. Maybe in another 10 years, if we keep growing and getting the different clientele coming in. Because there are still some people that will go out to shop. It's a chance you take.
Well, I think something that would help everything is this new sidewalk, our multi-use path.
Yeah.
That would be great if we could have it from one end of the city to the other, have it, you know, and have it wide enough for people who want to take a walk, but have things, you know, that you could go to. People wouldn't be driving to Pig and Pub, they would be walking down to Pig and Pub.
Yeah.
Or, you know, go to the ball field,
Mhm.
stuff like that. I think that would be great.
Connectivity, it would help a lot, yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah. This one that we're working on, of course, now is through, it was COVID money, it was grant or something in it.
Phase one will be CDBG, Community Development Block Grant, and then subsequent phases would be with ARPA funds.
Amanda, what was your thoughts you were about to say?
So in listening to the dialogue up here, this is exactly what the comp plan is supposed to get us to, because we can look at very specific areas of town. And, you know, for downtown, we may have a specific type of development code for downtown. We may want to have a specific type of development code that is more oriented towards hotels and, you know, like even a smaller convention center or, you know, whatever. You know, that's more on the other side of town, like closer to 40. You may want to have something that's more industrial oriented towards the south or closer to the rail track. So that is exactly what this plan is designed to get us to think about. So I love that this conversation is already happening.
You put me onto that thing and talking
Yes.
about different districts.
That's-
I like that idea, so could you expand upon that?
That's, in a nutshell, that's what it is. It's, you take, and what Councilman is referring to is, was it from Peoria that I said it? Was it Peoria, I think. So Peoria, Illinois, uses a type of zoning called form-based codes. I am not at all recommending that for here. Don't take that from what I am saying. But there is an opportunity where you can take a type of form-based code and make it a special area plan, which is essentially what you all are doing or have started to begin to do with your planned unit development that you all recently passed, okay? So we're already kind of starting to move toward that, but with specific area plans or more form-based, is you take a very specific area that's very, very well defined, and you look at what's there. And let's say if we're looking at, just this stretch here, and you've got, Mr. Bibbs building, the motor works, and you use that limit to White Bluff Road, okay? And you go all the way back to where Jordan used Taylortown. Okay, I said Jordan. It's Jackson. And so you want to use that as your boundary. And you say, okay, in this area, we know that the lot sizes are, on average, fill in the blank. We know that the architectural style is generally fill in the blank. We want the development in this area to look like fill in the blank. We don't want anything to be higher than fill in the blank. We want our setbacks to be very flexible or non-existent or fill in the blank. So you're taking very specific areas and matching development code specific to that area. And you can do that in different areas of town. It's kind of like historic preservation, but without the historic preservation element to it, but it functions in a very similar way. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Just want to be sure I can talk for hours about this stuff. And that's the beauty of all of this. When you get into the call for action, and I didn't know what else to call it. I mean, whatever. So call for action. What are we going to do? We're going to look at these things and we're going to guide. What do we want Taylortown Road to look like? Do you want it interspersed mixed use in there? If you do, that's fine, but what do you want it to look like? Is that the highest and best use for that area? Do you want to allow mixed use all the way down? Do you want to have, our main spine of town, do you want that to be commercial on both sides? And if you do, let's put it in that plan, and then let's execute that plan. That's the other part. You can put anything you want to down on paper. You can put anything you want to down on paper. But if you're not going to enforce it,
I mean, I don't know how the rest of y'all feel. I personally love that idea because y'all heard me when I ran for candidacy. I was plan. I mean, you had conversations ad nauseum about planning, and we were talking about how you couldn't spot zone your campus, but doing district, of course, I didn't know that because I didn't know law. I didn't know what could be done, but that sounds, at least to me, more similar about what I was kind of talking about when I was running. So it seemed to appeal to me.
I agree. I would like to see our little downtown area, and it just about is from this. That was the original downtown.
That'll be the downtown district.
That's what I mean, yeah. I would like to see that. In fact, I think we had a resolution or just agreed to it or something that where Main Street comes out into Highway 70, because you've got a restaurant there and you've got the pedals, you've got that we would call that 3 Points. It's just a cute name. Yeah, 3 Point District, yeah. So, I like the district. I mean, this to me, this is some visionary thinking, and I like it.
I mean, I personally love it because then that would also help guide the decisions of not just us as a council, but then future councils going, oh, well, it falls in that district. Sorry, that doesn't fit the district or whatever, or it does, and so go ahead and whatever.
You guys, one of the things I've learned, I try to watch other people, but you talk about Scott's talk about, it's hard to open up a brick and mortar store. But if you look over there in Charlotte, the Amish store, that's the most ingenious person I believe I've met in a long time. Buc-ee's, you turn the gas station with a stupid squirrel into, you know, a multi-million-dollar, you know, I mean, you just gotta get outside the box.
I think
I'm just like, I mean, if I put Pappies on towels and feet and blankets, would you buy it? I mean, I don't understand, but they're brilliant, I mean, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, someday somebody smarter, or of course, I'm not even into starting anything now. But someday somebody smarter than me is going to come and do something that ties in with Montgomery Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be, it could be just a small bake shop but still a lot of outdoor things, you know, to camp and
I would love to
all
own that one
that
day,
stuff.
but I've got
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Hunting store, all that kind of thing, because that is the community we are. And the surrounding people down on the river, and that's the kind of people they are.
Well, you know, I mean, I've also been the town planner for Belt Buckle for 15 years, you know, and we've got the Daffodil Days, we've got RC Cola Moon Pie, we've got the Web, you know, craft fair, and I will tell you, those people have no problem telling you no. I mean, and that's the thing, and it's just, you just don't push. You've got your Old Town, and the entire town is zoned Old Town residential, because it's all old.
Yeah.
You know, and then everything that Webb has and everything from Webb out, that's when you get into your R1 and everything else. But that core downtown is R1. And that, and you know, our little historic commercial strip, like, you just don't mess with it.
Yeah.
So I assume this would be the first step to move towards that,
That is.
and then I would anxiously await the next steps.
I would anxiously look at that from you all. This is your document. I challenge you. So just as Jeff said, I mean, there are different ways to approach it. You know, some communities will have breakout sessions, large breakout subcommittees, you know, continue with you and Evie or whomever, you know, and tackle one element at a time. One thing I did want to be sure that I say now, in the event that it doesn't get said again, the transportation element in here, fully recommend keeping that intact from the countywide, because so much engineering went into that. That is not something that I felt comfortable dissecting or taking apart or anything like that. Obviously, development that comes in with you all making your progress in your traffic impact studies and your new regulations with that fully supports a lot of the recommendations that were already in there. So kudos, you're already supporting the comp plan that you didn't know was coming, right? So, but I do recommend that you keep that section intact and don't try to parse that out. We can add to it, but let's not try to separate out that particular section.
And two, keep in mind, we're working through the safety action plan as well, and that's transportation related. So all of that will feed into this.
Which was a hit too at Tappa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta tell
Want me to tell?
quickly. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
real quick. So I went to the spring conference of the Tennessee chapter of the American Planning Association, the big mouthful, Tappa. And I was invited to co-present our safety action plan with AECOM. Usually, it was an hour and 15-minute session. Usually you might get like one or two questions at the end. We had over a dozen questions from all, it's a statewide thing, like planners in the room, you had some planning commission members, there were even some mayors in the room. I mean, everybody was just fascinated by, it was the weirdest thing to see. I mean, it's cool, but I was like, it's really, really fascinating to see the questions that are coming out of this. So we got some information, we got some notoriety out of little White Bluff.
And don't worry, y'all haven't seen that yet. I mean, it'll be coming in.
Yeah, it's great.
It should be in a few months.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting here thinking, am I just dumb or what?
No,
I'm sorry.
Y'all have-
What was that
Y'all
about?
have-
Yeah,
It was that workshop that we had with the pictures of everybody talking and pointing at the map. There were a bunch of them up there.
We have so many plans going, so many committees going, so many grants going, so many projects going.
Exactly.
It really is. That's what, Mary Littleton was here today. She was here to pay us. She heard me telling it, it's so funny. She came, she said, I know you don't speed in white line. And she said, and I deserve this, every bit. But anyway, so of course that just led one thing to another. We just, that she was, I was just telling her, of course she knows, because her daughter lives here too, one of her daughters. And she said, y'all just have something big going on all the time. I said, yeah, we do, we really do. It's nothing like when I started. It's maybe, I think, 2007, it's just nothing at all like that. But it's exciting, even to me today, this is exciting. I think from what I'm hearing even tonight, that we kind of like that historic part of downtown, the original downtown. Believe it or not, from where the Mexican restaurant is now, starting with there, the one up here across from my house, that was all residential years ago. There was no wire factory, there wasn't a shell station. There were alleys actually, with homes down in the alleys. So we need, I think it would be good to do something to keep our historic downtown, as far as maybe even coming up with specifications that if you wanted to open something up in downtown, or build something in downtown. We don't have much land now, I don't see. But anyway, we would have certain criteria that you could do. You just couldn't come in and throw up a metal building or any kind of building you want. It needs to blend in with the rest of the downtown. I love going through these little towns, and you can tell. Now, some of them are sad because there's no business there. The businesses have left, but still,
Right.
Anyway, that's my thought on it. But I like this. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Great job.
Thank you to everybody who helped.
I have a question. Interstate 40 is probably the most traveled interstate in the United States. And I think we could probably benefit from using that to draw people here, as far as, just something simple is maybe get with, 4 restaurants here in the local and put the billboard up and, have it pointing or something like that to us. That would get us started.
Yeah.
And because there are a lot of towns that do that. I see Bell Buckle has billboards up, saying what's going on that month. It's just something as simple as that. And
do they allow things like that on the interstate? I don't know. I know direction, like exit so-and-so Burns, what was that, but I don't know what they
there's
allow.
billboards on the interstate, all up and down the interstate. You can buy a billboard,
Yeah.
or rent one, I guess. There's 2 that just got put in here, down there at the,
Yeah. Well, I thought you meant
There,
here.
yeah.
Out here.
I get turned around. So,
Yeah, that one down there's got melancholy's name on it.
I'm
So-
jealous about that. I'm not happy.
there's
You're not, well, you need to be on there.
I agree, I absolutely agree. I'm more controversial than anybody, why I get a billboard?
there's no such thing as bad advertising.
I agree, absolutely.
So people know your name, if they did. So it's things like that that would,
Yeah.
we need to toot our horn, so to speak. And I believe that would be helpful. I don't think billboards are that expensive compared to other means. And that's what we're looking for, is people that are driving, people that are traveling, if they're, those people don't, when I'm at somewhere else, I can go down Franklin or something like that, go to White Bluff, and they're like, they turn their head like the dog's listening. Like the Dixon, oh, yeah. So,
Yeah. I agree with you.
I think that might help in our plan of action, or call to action,
Up there
something
on
like that.
33 sign program.
Okay.
And you were talking about the Amish, or the
Contribute.
country market. Yes, that is brilliant. Why don't we have one here?
Well, I took them to lunch about, I guess Andrew Whitwell and I did about, before she moved, 7 or 8 years ago, I don't know how long, time just gets away from me.
You taking the Country View Market?
I took the owners of Country View Market up here and showed them White Bluff and begged them to open up. In fact, at that time, it's where Sweet Tea, that's where we wanted them to open up. And, it just never came through. He told me at the time that they were using honestly their own kind of Amish people, you know, in there. And he said, and it's getting to where that we have a hard time even getting them, you know, to come and.
Well, I'll be honest with you, if I had the money, I would open one, and I don't care if they're Amish, I will make you look Amish, you
Well,
work
they're not,
there.
hey, they're not Amish though.
Exactly.
They have sold now.
Right.
They've sold,
Well, and
and,
like all that stuff,
yeah.
man, I mean, I get it, like it's
Yeah,
out there labeled, but
Yeah, they sold that store
yeah,
to somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you just get treated like you do when you go to Chick-fil-A, I mean, the people I go to Country View, I don't care what they are, they're nice to me,
oh,
they're great,
no.
so.
But at that time, that was their
Right.
thinking. It was an Amish Mennonite store or something, you know, and they made everybody, they used their own people, made it. But anyway, no, I begged them to come to White Bluff, and, it just, and they're good people, you know, but they stayed over there, built it up, wonderful place, and then they sold it.
made a fortune.
Another thing, you're familiar with TAC, Tennessee Attachment?
Yeah.
It's an old Safeway store, right? I might be not knowing what I'm talking about, but Shirley is who owns it now. Tommy's wife, Tommy died last year. They might be considering selling it. So that's certainly something that can be added to the White Bluff downtown project.
But I think what we have to do is, decide, you know, where we want the boundaries of the original historic downtown, and then go on out from there, you know, just keep adding districts. Anyway, these are all very, very good stuff. And the thing was, we've got to remember, as a city, we can encourage, we can lead, we can, make the right zoning laws, but this is private enterprise that's gonna have to take this over. I mean, you know, we can't, as a city, put money in it or anything, so we've got to have everything ready for them, whether they want to come, and they want to take a chance on, you know, here. So, I would like, I have a dream, and it would be like, I would love to have, the sidewalks and things similar to Dixon. We have the money for that, we're just not ready for that. Friends of White Bluff is looking at working with the downtown businesses. We did it about 10, 15 years ago. And now what we do is we have a certain amount of money that we will say, Brian, if you want to do something, we'll give you half of it up to a certain amount, you know. And that really helped our downtown 10, 15 years ago. It really helped. So we're thinking, that, you know, they would help in something like that. But,
Well, I know we had Tennessee Wire and Tennessee Attachment. Would it make sense to try and convince them to move into an industrial area?
no.
They've been here a
Tennessee
long
Attachment,
time.
yeah. Tennessee Attachment, yeah. Maybe if they're gonna sell, you know, I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah.
Tennessee Wire is pretty, or Nashville Wire, I'm sorry.
naturally, yeah,
It's pretty set.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it would be nice I personally think it'd be nice to build up our industrial park. Because it's working well for Dixon.
But it wouldn't be nice to make one of our biggest businesses mad.
No, I'm not saying tell them they
I
can
asked
move
them
around.
to.
I would be discussing it with them and getting, seeing what it would take to get them to move to a more desirable area. The only way they can get to their loading dock is through the little road there where all the Mexican restaurants is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do them any good if they have a more modern facility they can
Yeah.
expand. I know they put a new, they're working on a new place now, but.
See, they've got that green area there, I don't know what they're ever gonna do with that, but, well, we don't have that much of property actually right now for industrial anyway. And I think what, is it Jazz Park, the Jazz Center, whatever it's called? I would say within the next year, that will probably, it will be a community, you know, of maybe some retail, commercial, maybe another Mexican restaurant. And anyway, residential, it was, so, beyond that, we don't really have an industrial area.
Well, the Jazz Center is currently zoned for industrial.
Yeah, right, but he would ask for it to be rezoned, it's, you know, probably. Anyway, they're starting on the second section of, the apartments, I think, too, another nice apartment, starting on the second section now. So, okay. This is good, it's brought out a lot of good ideas anyway. Good visionary thinking. Okay, Dr. Christy Sutherland. Okay, let's go back to this. What does the next step? We just have to say we adopt it, or no, we send it back to planning, goes back to planning, okay.
Just after y'all have reviewed it and you want to add to it or whatever, I mean,
Okay.
but then at some point, we'd just like some direction to start the approval process, take it back to planning, and then bring it back.
Dr. Christy Sutherland, who is the newly appointed Director of Schools, is hosting a coffee and conversation at the Bill White Bluff Civic Center Tuesday, May the 7th. That will be just before our council meeting, from 4 to 5:30. I plan on attending. It would be nice if any of you want to see what her plans are for White Bluff. I do know that they're really high right now. They want to find a place here for maybe a daycare for the teachers here in White Bluff. They say that we lose a lot of our teachers to other counties because of lack of daycare systems. And we have a place that we didn't offer, we showed it, we gave them several options, kind of at the end of last year, but they never really did anything with it because it was too close to Dr. Weeks leaving, you know, but I'm going to talk to her about that Tuesday. All right. Anything else? Okay, let's adjourn then. See you all Tuesday night. If you have any more questions about the budget, about anything, just let us know before Tuesday night. Not the budget, we're not going to do that.
Financial.
You know what I do at Corvette?
What's that?
You need to turn into that Corvette.